Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Mark Marquette, and we're so glad you're with us to stay curious today. Marty Winkle is running our Streamlabs computer program, and we're bringing you another Stay Curious video podcast from the Hyatt Place Studios inside the American Space Museum. We thank them for supporting our big shuttle 50th anniversary conference we had out there April 16th, and some other events we're going to have planned there. So Hyatt Place, a great place for you and your family to stay when they're here on the Space Coast. And it's right there at the entrance of the Kennedy Space Center. So, yep, Marty's pointing here, a chair we got down there. I was getting to it, Marty, finding a way to segue into that. No easy way to say, hey, okay, put that chair down. As I'm talking about our sponsor and everything else we got going here today. A great little program about the SpaceX launch, the happenings going on at Kennedy Space Center. Our astronauts launched this morning. And in fact, behind us here is the streak shot that I took from over at Spaceview Park. Marty was over there selling T-shirts and coins. And a big, nice crowd over there, wasn't it? At 4:30, at 4 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. Quite a few people got up and then probably went back home and went back to bed. And between this and watching all night the crawler move the Artemis rocket back to the VAB, none of us have had much sleep here in the last 48 hours. So we're mumbling and stumbling through a wonderful Stay Curious program. We got 2 astronaut birthdays we're going to talk about real quick. But we also wanted to share a little bit about the phenomenal record of SpaceX launching. This is the 7th crewed flight. Let's just look at a couple pretty pictures here. There is the way that you can see a rocket launch at the Hyatt Place Hotel. That is a rocket going off pad 39A, where they went off last night. Courtesy of MarQ did this panorama for the hotel to show off their 5th floor launching viewing area up there. You're looking over Kennedy Space Center, and to the right is the visitors complex on a morning. But there's a nice little SpaceX, we call that the streak shot. It's taken me a few launches to master, but for you photographers out there, of course, you use a tripod and a long exposure, so you have to have a long cable release or a way to activate your camera to stay open on bulb for about 2 minutes. A very low ISO, only 100, and put that f-stop to 22 or 30. Yeah, it's just so bright, and that's the thing that gets you at 4 in the morning when this thing rocketed off. It's just like a tremendous amount of light everywhere. And this is just a mere pittance of a rocket compared to that Saturn V rocket that was launched one time at night in December 50 years ago. So, Marty, you saw that. That had to light up everything around the area for a good spell. But it is quite stunning how it lights up the whole area there for a while, and it went north up the North Carolina border, and for the 114th time, they brought back the first stage rocket, they being SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, that is using reusable rockets and spaceships to take humans to our International Space Station. Now, just think about that. Reusable first stage rocket. This is the first time that they use this Crew Dragon space capsule, brand new, but they intend to use it many times. And they've used the other. They've got 4 in production right now. It's unlikely that they're going to build any more. This is called Dragon. Let's just look at Dragon This is my favorite shot from Joel Kowski, a NASA photographer I'd love to meet. This is an outstanding photograph of this rocket launch, showing you the walkway that the astronauts walked across to get in their space capsule just moments after liftoff of those 9 Merlin engines. And that's a stunning photograph, Marty. I really like that. And good credit to Joel Kowski, all right, for taking that. This is the fourth and likely final human-rated Dragon spacecraft to be built, as Elon Musk is going to transition to his Starship, gigantic space craft to go to space, and I don't know if that thing will be able to dock to the space station, but we'll see. But he's got 3 other Dragons in his stable there to usher up to 7 people. The most they've launched is 4, but it will hold 7 people. And we can't wait for them to see that. Push it up to 5 and then 6 probably. Anyway, the astronauts were just woke up at 3 o'clock, Marty, when we were getting ready with our Stay Curious set here. They were awakened from their first night of sleep since the launch this morning at 3:52 a.m. And they're planning right now to dock with the International Space Station around 8:15 tonight. It could be earlier, all right? And then they do all the checks of all the seals and then the pressurization. So it'll be somewhere around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at the latest when they open up the hatch and 4 new astronauts are greeted by 7 members of the International Space Station. 3 of those are Russian cosmonauts up there. So this is the 50th launch, Marty, in 18 months. All right. That counts 4 or 5 Vandenberg. All right. So about 45 launches in the last year and a half by SpaceX. Of course, most of them are those Starlink satellites that's creating a communication network around the world. And I understand that's working out pretty good. $110 a month is what the cable or satellite bill is on that, Marty. This is the 7th crewed launch by SpaceX. They've launched 22 humans, and this is what blows my mind. The 2nd crewed flight in 3 weeks. Okay, think about that for a minute, because 3 weeks ago we launched the Axiom 1 4 male astronauts to the space station. They were going to spend 10 days up there. They ended up staying 15 and then came back to her Monday. And then we launched this crew up on Tuesday. So 3 weeks, and SpaceX has launched 8 human beings to space. Just we are there. We are at a new space renaissance that is ramping up. And wait till the suborbital flights of Richard Branson and his Virgin Galactic at his spaceport in New Mexico, and the Blue Origin suborbital flights kick off in Texas. Every week we're going to be talking about humans that have gone to the edge of space and come back or orbited Earth. So we had on this crew called the, what a beautiful insignia, a dragonfly. You see the capsule right there in the middle of the body of the dragonfly? Crew 4. Let's talk a little bit about those astronauts here. I'll show you a picture of them in a minute. Kjell Lindgren, his name is spelled Kgell. You may wonder about that. Well, he's born in Taiwan and grew up in England and in the United States. He's an Air Force Academy graduate, parachutist. He was a flight surgeon for NASA, and he spent 141 days in space on an earlier expedition crew that was launched by a Soyuz space capsule. So he probably enjoyed the little more roomy Crew Dragon. So he's been in 2 different spaceships in his career. And he was the backup, by the way, to Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken on the SpaceX first Crew Dragon demo test on there. And let's see here. We got, there's the crew there. That's Kjell. They call his name Kjell Lindgren. He's 49, has 3 kids. Beside him is another space veteran, Samantha Cristoforetti. We'll talk about her in just a minute, because this had to be a very special day to her, because it was her birthday on the 26th. And then, 3 hours, 52 minutes after midnight, her birthday, she's rocketed away a year older at age 45 to space. We'll talk about her bio here in just a minute. The other astronauts launched today. Bob Hines is a rookie, 47-year-old lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force, born in North Carolina, grew up in Pennsylvania. He flew them high-performance F-15 jets. And then the lady, also a rookie, is Watkins. What's her first name? Oh my gosh. I forget her first name. Marty? You probably don't know it. Someone out there. Oh, I have another cheat sheet here. A rookie. Jessica. How could I forget that? Jessica Watkins, my daughter's name. And we thank Jessica Galloway, our Trekkie Techie, for helping us out here. She is the first African American woman that's going to take residence up at the space station. We've had several African American ladies in the shuttle program visit it, but not come up to it. I think Joan Higginbotham was up there, and Stephanie Wilson was also up there. And but this is an Artemis astronaut along with Stephanie Wilson. She could be walking on the moon someday, or maybe she'll be a commander of the lunar outpost orbiting between the Earth and the moon when we start landing on the moon. But Jessica is 33. She's a planet geologist. That's after my own heart. She was born in Maryland, but grew up in Lafayette, Colorado. And she's one of the 18 Artemis astronauts named for future moon missions. So she's getting her time in space up there, and hope she does well up there. And they have something like 80 to 100 experiments to perform during their crew shift. And this is technically crew 66. Expedition 66 is segueing out. They will land within a week. They are up there also. Raj Chari, Tom Marshburn, Matthias Maurer of ESA, and Caleb Barron are all up there and have been up there since November, December, January, February, March, April. So that's 5 months they've been up there. And they'll ride SpaceX's Dragon Endurance back to Earth, leaving the Crew 4 astronauts that were launched this morning and 3 cosmonauts to start technically what is Expedition 67 in the 21 years of continuously habiting the International Space Station. So, Marty, good crowd out there. Anything to add to it? Of course, we had Ozzy Osbourne, our rocket hobo, was out there giving some commentary on the launch. Marty, I think he hit it this time, the 10-9-8-7. He didn't hit it. He was pretty close. I heard him talking. He was well within 30 seconds.
A lot of things happen within 3 or 4 seconds.
He is within, yeah. It's hard to get the exact timing because everything's delayed. You watch it on TV, and that's about 35 seconds off, or could be more. But I heard him start, and I'm going, I better get behind my lens here and start snapping pictures. And sure enough, he wasn't too far off. But God bless Ozzy Osbourne. Maybe if you've met him out there, he's in his 70s, and he goes out there and gives a nice commentary, promotes the museum, and then everybody gives him a little tip at the end. So, and I know he enjoys having a big steak dinner tonight on all of you that were out there enjoying the pre-dawn rocket launch. So then the moon came up with the planets up there. So a big time for Space Coast right now. But we wanted to wish a happy birthday to this lady yesterday that was rocketed to space. That is, of course, Samantha Cristoforetti, turned 45 on April 26, born in Milan, Italy. All right, she and we had a wonderful talk with Alex Carl, who was an ESA astronaut support member. Alex, thank you for your time on Stay Curious. Had him on here Monday, so check that show out. He was here as one of the ESA representatives supporting their astronaut. She is the only female astronaut in the ESA Corps, so very popular, Alex said. A lot of demand on her time, but a great role model for women all over the world. Of course, she's a Trekkie Techie. She's wearing the, I guess that's the commander outfit, Marty, the bridge. I know the blue science, but I think there was only one commander, but a lot of them wear that red. So she's wearing that. She's also huge into The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And the answer to the ultimate questions of life, the universe, and everything is the number 42, according to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And she was on Expedition 42/43, so that was some kismet to her. But now Samantha Cristoforetti is on Expedition 67, which 6 times 7 is 42. So you Hitchhiker of the Galaxy fans out there can go bonkers over all this lining up for a big fan of that. So she's the first person to mix espresso. She took an espresso machine and made espresso coffee in 0G in 2015. And then with the comment, there's coffee in that nebula, in that dragon, she said from Star Trek Voyager, her love for coffee, quoting Captain Janeway on that. So we got enough of our Trekkie Techie Star Trek stuff in there to keep Trekkie Techie happy for this show. Also cool about her, she commanded a Nemo mission. That is the underwater facility off of Key Largo, south of Miami, where astronauts trained. We learned a lot about that with one of our favorite astronauts, Nicole Stott. She was a commander on that Nemo, and I'm sure they know each other very well. So happy birthday, 45th birthday, Samantha Cristoforetti. I'll bet they've got a gift for her ready when they open up that hatch to the International Space Station. So it could be around 9 o'clock tonight, okay? So check spaceflightnow.com will have it. Hopefully the NASA channel, TV channel will have it too. So there's a beautiful poster of the Crew 4. We'd like to see those and sell those in our gift shop. Discover legendary views, enjoy exciting spacewalks, out-of-this-world accommodations, and the most exotic commode you'll ever use. Commercial crew mission, space exploration, Technologies Corporation, and NASA. So astronauts have a lot of fun doing this. In fact, they put together another poster like Babylon 5, I think, is like the panels that the Expedition 67 crew did a little sci-fi take on that. So, well, hey, Marty, we've got another astronaut birthday. The very popular and talented Ellen Louise Schulman Baker was born today, April 27th in 1953. Happy 69th birthday to you, Ellen Baker. 3 shuttle flights. And I find her shuttle flights very fascinating, Marty. We'll talk about those in a minute. What a round. We'll see when I give you her 3 flights that, boy, they were very diverse, and who wouldn't want to be on those? Born in Fayetteville, North Carolina, but raised in New York City. And I got some stargazing friends in Fayetteville, North Carolina, including Johnny Horn, who worked for the newspaper there for about 3 or 4 decades. Hope you're watching Stay Curious, Johnny, and love sharing your pictures on our Facebook and on Stay Curious once in a while. She was the chief of education, the medical branch of the NASA office. But she grew up in New York City and went to Bayside High School in Queens. They did a TV show on that. Isn't that Bayside High School in Queens? Is that Welcome Back, Kotter, or one of those shows out there? I'll bet Christopher Mick knows that for me, but anyway, one of our guys will know for me. Anyway, she, following her parents, who were NASA medical officers at Landon, at LBJ Space Center, Johnson Space Center in Houston, she became a medical officer there, and then got into Flight Medical Clinic, selected as an astronaut in 1984, and has had various jobs, including development of the space station. But her 3 missions, she was with our favorite pilot, Mike McCulley, on Atlantis when they, in 1989, on STS-34, when they deployed the Galileo probe to Jupiter. And then she was on STS-50, which was a U.S. microgravity lab, and the first a 2-week mission of an orbiter that was Columbia in 1992. A very, not risky, but still unknowns, pushing it from about 10 days to 3 or 4 more days. There she is in the lab there. And then her last stint was what I think everybody would like to have done, was take a trip to the Mir space station and check that out. And she did in June 1995 on STS-71, which was the first shuttle to dock with the space station, Atlantis. So 3 wonderful missions there involved with going to Jupiter, and then involved with microgravity experiments, and then she got to hang out a little bit at the Mir space station. So our hats off and happy birthday to 69-year-old Ellen Baker, who is out there in community right now doing good works to promote space, I guarantee you. Well, Marty, we've had a busy week to Space Coast. It's hard not to look over there 11 miles across the Indian River and not get excited about all that's happening over there. And the private industry is of course fueling it. But here's a photograph I took of Artemis just hours before it was moved off the pad. The sun is glinting off the LUT there, the launch umbilical tower. That yellow line there is the sunlight off something that's reflecting off of it. There you see the worm logo on the SRB that we have there. And that's with about a 1,500 millimeter lens 11 miles away. So, and then I kind of hung out. One of the most beautiful, I didn't take this picture. This is one of the, again, my favorite picture of the rollout going into the VAB. Taken by Craig Bailey, Shutterbug friend of mine. Craig works for the Florida Today newspaper. Outstanding image, Craig. We're a beautiful reflection of the whole LUT, the launch complex, the mobile platform. You see Artemis there, ready to just push it in there, and then let's get to work on it, boys and girls. So I'm sure they are, but. Kudos to you, Craig Bailey. A gorgeous photo there that we're showing off your talents. And my talents were from 11 miles away to kind of show something different. This is about 1 in the morning, and the crawler was headed towards the launch. Actually, it's headed away from pad 39A from 39B. Of course, 39A is where the Falcon 9 rocket with the Freedom, the name of the capsule, is on the back side of there. I wanted to get it as they were crossing in between the water tower and so forth and the launch complex, but I fell asleep. and when I woke up, I couldn't believe how far and how quickly, I was only asleep for 45 minutes, and I'm going, man, that boogied away from there. But thanks, Mark Usiak, for giving me a tip of using some creativity there. And there it is, 11 miles away, okay? Not too bad of a shot across the Indian River from Spaceview Park. You can clearly see the Artemis rocket and its SRBs on the side there. And they got some doors open in the VAB. Not often they do that, but of course they open up the big doors on one side. They want to open them up on the other side probably to keep the air balanced, right? Inside there. You didn't work too much in the VAB, did you? During Apollo he did. So, we hope that you enjoyed watching a little bit about the action at Kennedy Space Center and our shuttles of April. We've had 16 shuttles launched in April, and we're going to conclude that the next couple days. Well, we'll talk some more about the shuttle missions tomorrow, and then we'll have, of course, Tales from the White Room with Triple T on Friday. Thank you, Ophelia Sauterel, for being such a faithful watcher there in Normandy, France. It's evening there, at least 6 hours difference, 10:30 probably in the evening there. Pam Shivik, thank you for being a supporter and telling your and my astronomy friends to stay curious. I'll be in contact with you here soon. We want to try to do a program with you and kids. Ishmael, Jamal Al-Rama, thank you for watching. Robert Law, Robert gave us a shout out for shouting out to him yesterday. Okay, he appreciated the picture we showed of him in front of the Hubble telescope at the Visitors Complex. And Jason Christofoli, thank you for watching. And of course, two of the best launch photographers and great guys, by the way, you'd ever meet, Mark and Tom Usiak. Always watching our show and catching the replays when they don't, like you can, on our Facebook library, or go to YouTube, We've got most of all the YouTube Stay Curious episodes since July up there. So like us, share us, subscribe, and follow to us. Okay, it means a lot to our nonprofit as we reach out across the world with Stay Curious, and we're thrilled to do that. And we're always looking for your suggestions and ways to have guests that you'd like to have, or other suggest a topic, if you would. But we got 2 more shuttles, a DoD mission to launch tomorrow, the 28th. And then Tom UCX sent me some pictures he took of 51B, which launches on April 29th, Friday, with Space Lab 3, an ESA mission there. So we'll be sharing some pictures of that with you along the way. But we'll leave you with this. With today's launch, according to my totals of humans that have been orbiting the Earth since Yuri Gagarin in 1961, my total is 587. We added 2 more today. Now, this is a combination of the wonderful CBS writer Bill Harwood and counting them on Wikipedia, okay? Orbiting the Earth. We're not going to count the suborbital flights. Alan Shepard and Gus Grissom had suborbital flights, but they also had orbital flights. So they are in the orbit category. 587 humans have orbited the Earth, and we are up to, with Jessica Watkins, 69 females, okay, is our total of women that have orbited the Earth. So I leave you with that factoid there here on Stay Curious. That's why you come to watch us, after all, to satisfy your curiosity. So Marty and I thank you. Our whole museum thanks you. And until we meet again, I'm Mark Marquette, hoping that we can meet face-to-face in our museum here in downtown Titusville so we can bridge the space between us.